Hello, and welcome to Movie Minute. Today we're breaking down a gripping crime thriller based on true events, The R.I.P., released in January 2026. This story takes us back to Miami in 2016, revolving around a specialized narcotics unit and a discovery that was never meant to be found. During what seemed like a routine raid, these officers stumble upon a secret stash of $20 million. A discovery that quickly spirals into a dangerous web of internal conflict, suspicion, and a total breakdown of trust. In part 1, we'll see how this story begins, how that massive fortune is first uncovered, and how one secret message changes everything. Before we dive into the story, make sure to subscribe to Movie Minute so you don't miss a single part of this breakdown. Let's get into the story. The story begins with a very frantic scene. There's a woman inside a car speeding down the road. She's on a phone call. From her urgency, we understand that she's on a very critical journey. Her name is Jackie Velas. She's a captain in the narcotics unit. Given her profession, she's always at great risk. During this call, she says, "Don't be afraid. This is my personal phone, so no one is listening to our conversation. You're safe." However, the person on the other end of the call is in great fear. "I feel a lot of fear here. It feels like many people are watching me. Come quickly," he or she pleads with Jackie. Jackie emphasizes to the person she's talking to never to cut this call. As the conversation continues, Jackie reaches the place she mentioned. Arriving there, she tells the person, "I've arrived now. Don't trust anyone else. Wait until I come. I'll save you." From Jackie's words, we understand that she's trying to protect a witness or an informant who is in a very risky situation. However, just as Jackie gets out of the vehicle and walks a short distance, the entire area shakes from a sudden, unexpected volley of gunfire coming from somewhere. As a very skilled officer, Jackie quickly takes action and starts returning fire, but it's not an easy task for her. Because while Jackie is fighting alone on this side, on the other side, two trained shooters are targeting and attacking her. During this exchange of fire, Jackie's phone is unexpectedly thrown from her hand. But the most special thing we see here is that even when she's in a near-death moment of her life, Jackie isn't trying to save her life. She's struggling with great difficulty to pick up that phone and try to type a message to someone. Sending that text message had become a bigger responsibility to her than her own life. But at that same moment, the two shooters target and shoot her. One of those bullets hits Jackie severely. Yet surprisingly, she doesn't let go of that phone until the very last moment. Even while holding on to her last breaths, she sends that message. After that, without leaving any evidence, she throws that phone into the river nearby. Finally, the shooters come up to Jackie and finish that brutal crime. Jackie dies right there. The next scene shows two officers talking inside a police office. The conversation here is about nothing else but Jackie's mysterious death. Jackie was a top-ranking police officer, even though one of their colleagues had been killed like this. The fact that they can't find any clue about those who committed the murder has become a big conflict for these officers. Here we are introduced to two main characters leading the investigation. This questioning is being done by a high-ranking police officer, Tom Vallejo. Sitting with him and answering his questions is Dane Dumars, a lieutenant in the narcotics unit. Tom asks very directly what Jackie really went to seize that day. There's a weight of great suspicion within this question. Dane's answer to that is that perhaps she went to seize a very large amount of money. With this answer, we're left with something to think about. Why did a high-ranking officer like Jackie go on this operation alone? Was she subjected to some kind of betrayal? Or is someone within the police itself involved behind that large amount of money she went to seize? With Dane's suspicious statement, the suspicion of the story now begins to turn toward everyone. With Jackie's death, the entire narcotics unit is now caught in a major crisis. The situation is so severe that the problem has escalated to the point of closing down this unit. The officers inside are accusing each other with suspicion. They're getting into conflicts that are impossible to control. The root of all this was the inability to solve the mysteries behind Jackie's death. The high-ranking officer, Tom, is trying to find the truth amidst these events. He calls the officers one by one and questions them. After Dane, next comes Mike Rowe. From the statements of every officer who comes in line like this, one thing becomes clear to us. That is, Jackie was an officer who highly respected her profession, was honest, and very kind. Actually, there's a special reason why these high-ranking police officers came here and are questioning so strictly. Jackie's team was a skilled team that raided not only drugs, but also illegal firearms and very large amounts of black money. So the main suspicion has become whether Jackie was killed because of some dispute or transaction that arose due to these seized amounts of money. It's because of that suspicion that Tom and other officers, that is FBI officers, are continuously taking statements from this entire team. During these events, we're introduced to another unique character, that is Detective Sergeant J.D. Byrne, who works in this narcotics unit. A more interesting point here is that this Sergeant Byrne's brother, that is his elder brother, is the FBI or high-ranking police officer who came to investigate this incident. So the situation gets a bit heated during this questioning, where these two brothers are facing each other. Going beyond taking a normal statement, this discussion starts to escalate into a big fight at the end due to the conflicts of memory between these two. At this time, Byrne questions his brother very harshly. Why are you all trying to pin this murder on our team? Are you trying to dump this on us because you really couldn't find the murderer? The answer his brother gives to that is very serious. He says that the reason they haven't been able to find this murderer might be because that murderer is someone from the police itself. This argument turns even more severe. Byrne accuses him about helping to close down the crime-fighting team called V-Kate. He says that it's because that skilled team was disbanded that they haven't been able to solve even a murder like this now. But the brother gives a direct answer to that. There was only corruption, fraud, and theft within that team. That's why we closed it down, he emphasizes. At that time, Byrne says again, even if everyone wasn't good, you've destroyed the experts who were there to solve crimes. Through the fight that arises between these two, another big secret is revealed. That is, there had been a romantic relationship between the deceased Jackie and Byrne. When they start talking about this personal matter, Byrne and his brother, who lose their patience, eventually take this problem so far that they're at the point of hitting each other. The fight that broke out between these two is somehow settled by the police officers who were there. After that, we're shown a private conversation taking place between Dane and Byron. They're both in great, unbearable sorrow over Jackie's actual death. They talk about how if they can't find anyone responsible for this murder, the authorities might eventually try to bury the whole incident by considering it a normal death and giving compensation to the family. Because there's no help from anyone to solve these mysteries. They are in frustration. Everyone is just giving excuses to save their own skin. At that point, Byrne presents a wonderful idea. He says, if it were someone like me, what I'd do at a time like this is set a bait and see. Then we'll be able to see what really emerges. These two are in intense anger toward their own department and team. Dane says directly, I'm fed up with this job now. I'm ready to quit and leave at any time. From this conversation, it's clear to us that Dane and Byrne aren't just colleagues. They are two very close friends who trust each other during a crisis. Their conversation ends there. After that, we're shown a scene where everyone in this team gathers in one place and engages in a little fun while having a small talk. But amidst that happiness, everyone's talk is about that same mysterious death. However, at this time, Dane isn't here. He's still alone in the office. Dane, who is in some serious thought, suddenly checks a message that came to his phone earlier. It has come from an unknown number. The time the message arrived is recorded as September 4th at 10:17 p.m. In that message, it says Stash House in Hialeah, Cartel Big, and several dollar signs and 23,342 11th Avenue. What is the real meaning of this message? Wait, I'll explain it to you. A stash house is a secret warehouse in the city of Hialeah. Usually, places like this are used to hide drugs or black money. Cartel Big, with $3 marks, means that this belongs to a powerful group of drug traffickers and that there's a massive mountain of money there. Finally, there's the address to go to that location. Now, the biggest question is, who sent this secret message to Dane? Was this the message Jackie sent before she died? Leaving such a big question mark, let's move forward with the story. The movie again shows us the place where Byrne and the group are. A group of DEA officers, that is, Drug Enforcement Administration officers, arrive there in a large truck. The most special person among this group is Mateo Nix. Nix is a very close friend of Byrne's. He also comes there and inquires very keenly about how the situation is now and if there's any new information. But the answer Byrne and the team have to give is the same one they said before. "We haven't been able to catch anyone yet. We're also looking into that," they tell Nix, expressing their helplessness and frustration. After a while, Nix leaves there with his team of officers. It's during this time that Dane comes there looking hurried. He comes and says, "I've just received a reliable tip. A large stash of money is hidden in a house in Hialeah. I want to go and seize that." But at that time, there's no great interest shown in that from the other officers. They think that by going on extra operations like this, they don't get any extra salary or allowance. Because of that, they hesitate a bit to go on this journey. But Dane, standing firmly by his decision, says, "If you can't, it's fine, but I want Wilbur." Who is this Wilbur? Wilbur is a very skilled police dog in this team. Wilbur has an amazing ability to sniff out drugs, money, or any other hidden evidence. Finally, even if everyone is reluctant, they agree to get involved in this operation. But here, something happens that makes us feel a little suspicious. An officer in this team named Numa comes and asks Dane how much money is there. At that time, Dane's answer is something like 25 million. But after that, when Mike Rowe comes and asks that question, Dane says there's about 15 million. Why does Dane give different answers to each person like this? It's clearly visible to us that he's confusing this information. Along with Dane's contradictory statements, the entire team goes looking for that address they received. That area is very dark. Usually there's such an eerie silence around there that not a human soul, a vehicle, or even an animal is seen as one would find in a populated environment. Amidst these mysterious surroundings, they find the house mentioned. Before inspecting the house, you might remember that Wilbur, that skilled police dog Dane specifically requested, has also been brought here. Wilbur is handled by an officer in the team named Lolo, but as soon as they come near this house, Wilbur starts behaving in a very strange way. Understanding this restlessness of the animal, Lolo quickly informs Dane about it. In the meantime, Lolo also asks Dane how much money is really here. Then the answer Dane gives is about 75,000. Look, Dane, who previously said 25 million and 15 million, now tells Lolo a small amount like 75,000. Truly, with this incident, several big questions arise in our minds. Why does Dane tell everyone a different amount for this money? Does he have a desire to keep this stash of money for himself? Or is he doing this to test the trustworthiness of those in his team? But all these things are still big mysteries. While curiosity is increasing like this, a young woman comes out from inside that deserted house. Her name is Desiree. She's a very young person. Seeing this group outside, she asks with surprise and suspicion, "Who are you? Why did you come here?" Dane very subtly tells another lie here. He tells Desiree, "We received a tip from our police that you have drugs. That's why we came to check." Even though he really came to find money, why he hides that and only mentions drugs is a big question. Even though Desiree is reluctant at first without any panic, she finally allows them to inspect this house. It's during that time that Wilbur starts his work. He suddenly runs toward the upper floor through the middle of the house while sniffing. While everyone is watching, Wilbur goes and stops near one room, looks up, and starts barking. When Dane inspects it well, he sees something like a strange door in the ceiling. When that is pulled down, a staircase leading to a secret room comes out in a way one couldn't even imagine. To see what this secret is, both Dane and Byrne climb up to that upper room. But surprisingly, that room is completely empty. No furniture or drugs, not even any money is visible. But within that emptiness, there's one strange thing for these two to see. The entire house is covered in dust. Even though it's dark and deserted, only this secret room is clean. It's as if someone has used this room frequently and maintained it very tidily. Dane immediately questions Desiree. How is it that only this room is so clean when the whole house is so dirty? Desiree gives a very strange answer to that. She says, I don't know about that. I've never gone to that upper floor. While Dane and Byrne are inspecting this room thoroughly, their eyes catch a small piece of wire that has come out strangely near a plug point. With professional experience, the two understand that there's no way a wire of a plug would come out like this normally. As soon as Byrne pulls that wire, another secret door on the wall opens. With so many secret things being found inside the house, the officers now start questioning Desiree intensely. According to what she says, this house belongs to her grandmother. She has looked after her grandmother until she died. But there's another special thing, she says. Even though I'm in this house, I don't have permanent ownership of it yet. There's a legal issue going on these days because I can't divide this property with my sister, she explains her situation. The officers question Desiree very strictly. Desiree, tell us about the secret inside that wall right now. It'll be better for you if you tell the truth before we break this, they warn. But Desiree continuously says that she doesn't know anything about it. The police don't believe her, not knowing anyway. They still level accusations at her. We saw a Colombian flag hanging on the lower floor. So they hint that since they saw a Colombian flag in the house, they don't need to guess whose money is hidden here. It must be connected to a powerful cartel. Finally, they decide to break down and inspect the suspicious wall. Once the wall is broken, Byrne and Dane go inside. There, they see several small, red barrels. Dane opens one barrel, and they see a massive amount of cash, more than they could have imagined. According to Dane's estimate, just one small barrel could hold about $1.4 million. At this moment, Dane unexpectedly tells the other officers, "Go downstairs for a moment, I need to talk to Byrne privately." Recalling how Dane previously gave false information about the money to everyone, a reasonable suspicion now arises in our minds. Are these two also preparing to steal this money? Dane does something even more suspicious. He takes the phones of everyone going downstairs into his custody. Not only that, he takes Desiree's phone too. However, when Byrne tries to hand over his phone, Dane says, "I don't need your phone, you keep it." This shows that Byrne and Dane are on the same side in this plan. Byrne asks Dane again, according to the tip, how much money was actually supposed to be here? Then Dane forgets all the previous figures and gives a brand new answer, 30 million. The story has now reached a very critical juncture. Dane decides to take the money barrels out of the wall and starts counting them. He says, "We need to take these barrels out and see how much money there is right now." But here Byrne presents an unexpected proposal. He goes close to Dane and secretly tells him, "Let's take these without counting them here." Byrne's suggestion indicates that he has some secret plan for this money, but Dane does not agree to it at all. According to police law, things found during such a raid must be properly counted and reported at the location itself. No matter how much Byrne insists, we see here that Dane is not ready to betray his professional integrity and the law. The argument between Dane and Byrne heats up even more. It is then that Dane reveals the critical piece of information in the story. He says, "Jackie gave me a hint about a large sum of money before she died. This must be it." That's where a big suspicion comes to us. Was the secret message Jackie struggled to send in the middle of that gunfire, moments before she died, received by Dane? Is this whole operation the result of Jackie's final message? While all this remains a big mystery, we move further into the story. Meanwhile, Byrne interrupts again and asks, "Should I call my brother about this?" But Dane doesn't allow it. Here, it is clear to us that there is a big conflict between the two. Either Byrne is scared after seeing this money, or Byrne has a big suspicion that Dane might run away with the money. Amidst these arguments, Desiree says something very strange. She says, "You two are both doing this wrong. Before this situation gets worse, you two should take whatever amount you want and run away from here." Right at that moment, Rose sees a police vehicle approaching in the distance. As soon as Rose tells Dane, Dane immediately acts, ordering everyone, "No radio calls, no shouting, stay quiet." He tells Lolo to quickly put the money barrels into the garage. The arriving police officers, who came because they were suspicious that this house was lit up in an otherwise dark and deserted area, ask what is happening here. Dane and Byrne show their official identity and say, "We are from the TNT. We are engaged in a special duty here." So the arriving police officers ask suspiciously, "We were not notified of such an operation?" Dane gives a very sharp answer to that. "Yes, that's right. You are regular police. We don't need to inform you about a secret tip we received." The narrator notes that the behavior of the arriving officers is also not good. They speak aggressively. Somehow this conflict ends there, and the police car goes back. However, as they leave, they warn that they will complain about this to their superiors. With this incident, one thing becomes clear to Dane. That is, someone has tipped off these police officers. But the question is, who gave the tip? Only this team knows about this secret operation. Then this betrayal must have happened from within their own team. Even though Dane understands this, he goes back inside the house without showing it externally. As soon as he goes inside, Dane orders everyone to prepare their weapons, be vigilant, and strengthen their security. Because Dane knows that now, an attack is definitely likely to be launched against them. At this time, Desiree is tied up and seated in the kitchen. The other officers prepare to count the money barrels in the garage. Meanwhile, Lolo sees a vehicle parked in the garage with a cover over it. Thinking that an attack will definitely come from the cartel or another group because of the massive amount of money, they take that car and block the main garage door for security. Roe is in great suspicion and fear about the things that are happening. He comes and asks directly, "Why are we doing this? It's very dangerous to do this without informing anyone and taking our phones. We could get into big trouble because of this." Because of this panic, a big argument almost broke out within the team, but Lolo intervened and resolved it peacefully. Meanwhile, Dane and Byrne arrive. Dane decides to send Roe out on guard duty. He instructs Roe to immediately shout and inform them if he sees anything suspicious, and sends him outside. Now the remaining people in the garage prepare to count the money. Dane tells them a special method to count this money. The money is counted in packs. Take the amount written on that label and record it. Don't break them open. However, only take the packs that are broken and the scattered money and count them separately, he instructs. Somehow the team starts the work of counting the money exactly as he said. The story has now come to a dangerous turning point. We are shown Roe, who went on guard duty, secretly using a phone where no one can see him. And he sends a message from it. Jackpot dollars, not calling command. This means a huge amount of money has been found, but this group has not yet informed the higher officials about it. A big question arises here. Even though Dane took everyone's phones into his custody, how did Roe get a phone to send this message? This means Roe had an additional phone secretly kept with him. Meanwhile, Dane is questioning Desiree, who is in the kitchen. Desiree says, "Unknown people come and go from this house, but I don't know who they are." Dane reminds her of what she said earlier. "Then why did you say earlier that we should take whatever amount of money we want and leave?" The answer Desiree gives to that is very strange. She says, "I was instructed to say that if anyone came." Dane checks Desiree's background through the police system. According to the information received from the system, there are no criminal charges against her. However, she had previously given a tip to the police about a certain incident. When asked about it, she says she told the police about her former boyfriend's drug trafficking and thefts. But Dane and Byrne don't believe it. They accuse her, "You knew all this, didn't you? You stayed in this dangerous house, hoping to seize this money and get a 20% commission from it, didn't you?" Truly, with these events, the mystery in the story increases even more. According to the law in this area, if someone gives a tip about such a large sum of money, 20% of the seized money legally belongs to the informant. So, the suspicion that Desiree stayed in this deserted house, taking this risk, hoping for a 20% commission, strongly arises in our minds. Just then, the phone on the table rings. Even though Desiree shouts not to answer it, Byrne ignores her and picks up the phone. The unknown person speaking on the other end says something unbelievable. "You all get out of that house within 30 minutes, take the $150,000 tip you received, and leave. We don't want to kill anyone for such a small amount, he threatens. After this call, Byrne and Dane go aside to talk privately. Byrne accuses Dane, "The person who called said $150,000. Why did you lie to me?" Desiree listens carefully to the conversation between. Finally, Byrne says, "Call the major right now, or I will." Saying that, he angrily leaves the spot. At that moment, we are shown a scene of Jackie's dying moment again. Now we are absolutely sure that the secret message Jackie sent in her final moments amidst the gunfire was indeed sent to Dane. Meanwhile, Byrne goes outside and makes a secret call to Nix. He tells Nix he is trapped in a very dangerous situation and needs immediate help. "There is an uncountable amount of money here, Nix, but I can't trust what is happening at all." Byrne expresses his suspicion. Nix at this time further increases the suspicion Byrne has about Dane. He says Dane is under a lot of mental pressure because of Jackie's death, and you know Dane's son died of cancer. So, Dane desperately needs money these days. There's a chance he might even run away with that money, so be careful. Why Nix is giving such unfavorable information about Dane is a puzzle to us too. So Byrne tells him to inform his brother about this, but Nix says, "There's no need to tell your brother. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Meanwhile, Dane comes into the room where the money is being counted and closes the door very secretly. At that time, only Lolo and Numa are there. Dane directly tells them his idea. "I want my share of the money. Let's divide some of this money," he suggests. Desiree, sitting in the kitchen, hears every word of this conversation very clearly. Meanwhile, Ro, who is on guard duty outside the house, sees a very mysterious sight. The lights in the surrounding houses, which had no light until now, suddenly start turning on and off. Amidst this, the light near one house is turning on and off in a strange pattern. It is at this moment that Byrne suddenly comes there and starts talking to Ro. The pattern of this light catches Byrne's special attention. He realizes that this is not just a simple electrical fault. This light is turning on and off in a certain pattern. Byrne firmly decides that this is definitely a secret signal being given to someone. Byrne decides to go and inspect the house, where the light is turning on and off suspiciously. And this is where everything takes a darker turn. What started as a hidden stash of money now feels like a trap closing in from all sides. Someone has leaked information. Someone is watching them. And whatever is coming next won't be solved with questions alone. As Byrne walks toward the strange signal in the darkness, one thing becomes clear. This night is far from over. What happens next will push this team past the point of no return. That continues in part 2. Don't forget to like the video, share your thoughts below, and subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. I'll see you in part 2.